Hey guys, Ike here from IkesOutdoors.com. Now I want to make a couple disclaimers right off the beginning. It is the 4th of July, so you may hear some shooting in the background, some explosions in the background, fireworks going off, because like I said, today's the 4th of July. God bless America. Hope you guys are having a good one. The other disclaimer is the camera might be at a little bit of a weird angle because I don't have my good tripod. I've got my field spotting tripod, so it doesn't have a level on it. So the camera might be a little off level or something like that. It may not be quite as straight and perfect with the world as my other one is. The purpose of this video is really just to kind of tell you guys about my weekend. Like I said, today's July 4th and I had a really rough experience this weekend. Ended up in a hospital and wanted to tell you guys about it. I know there's some guys on Facebook that follow me there, and I kind of updated with what was going on. And I want to get it out there as kind of a cautionary tale that this can happen to you, because it happened to me, and how bad things were. So what happened was I suffered from a heat stroke Saturday evening, July 2nd, and ended up in the hospital and almost ended up dying. Was really close to end up dying. If it wouldn't have been for a lady, which I wish, her name was Tammy, and she's a registered nurse, and I wish I could find her to thank her because she saved my life. What happened was I went out Saturday to put out some tree stands, and there's a deep bottom and it's just almost a straight drop off, and what I wanted to do was drive my truck around the edge of it, get away from this drop off that was real straight to a little more gradual slope. So what I wanted to do is take my truck off down in there and just go right along the edge of that slope, and then use my cart to get the tree stands down there where it'd be a little bit easy. Well, that didn't work out so well. I went to go around the tree, and when I went to go around the tree, the truck started sliding down the hill, and as I went down the hill, I could not make it back up. So I went ahead and ended up down in the bottom, and when I got down in the bottom, I tried to turn around and come back up the hill, and my little two-wheel drive pickup could not make it up the hill, and I ended up going back down and getting high-centered on a tree. At that point, I had axes and saws and everything with me. I got out in the heat, and I started trying to get my truck unstuck, and I sat out there for an hour, and it's, you know, July, it was 94, 95 degrees out there, and I worked on it for an hour, and I drank water, but I didn't drink enough, and I didn't cool off enough, and I had sweat just pouring off me. And when I get my mindset to doing something, I'm going to do it, and I was determined that I was going to get that damn truck out, and I wasn't going to have to call anybody, and I was going to do it on my own, and that's the attitude that got me in trouble. I was out there with an axe and a saw, just trying to get that truck off of that tree to the point, I finally got to the point where I thought I was going to pass out. And my heart was racing so fast, and I just couldn't think straight, and I couldn't operate, I couldn't function. And I called my wife and had her come get me. And I finally got back in the truck and got cooled off and got rehydrated, and my wife came and got me. So I came home and I was sick all afternoon, and just felt terrible all afternoon. And I sat in there in the air conditioning in the house and drank water and everything, and got to feeling better. And me being stubborn and stupid, decided I was going to go over and get my truck out, and wasn't going to have to call anybody, and was going to go get my truck out. So I took my wife's Honda Element over there and did the same thing again, and was out there for an hour or so, and doing the same stuff, cutting and trying to get the truck off of the log. And I got the truck off the log. I won. I got the truck off the damn log, and still couldn't get up the hill. So there was another hill over there that I tried to go up, and I couldn't get up that hill either, and I ended up high-centered on another log. I ended up getting stuck on another. Apparently they dropped a bunch of trees down there, and the grass was that tall, and just could not get traction on it. Got out, worked on that log, couldn't get that log, and decided to hell with it. I was getting sick at that point. I'd actually thrown up a couple times, and decided that I needed to get out of there, and I needed to go do something. So when I had to walk back to the Honda at that point, walked straight up an incline and walked back to the Honda. And at that point, when I got back to the Honda, I was confused. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing, and I decided to get in the Honda and try to turn it. I was parked on the road. I turned it around, and when I went around, instead of doing a three-point turn, I went out into the field and got my wife's Honda Element stuck, and which doesn't take much. It's a great little vehicle, but it didn't take much in that scenario to get that thing stuck. So there I was, suffering from a heat stroke, and I was stuck on the side of the road, and the Honda was, like typical, it was about out of gas, and I couldn't turn it on and get the air conditioning going. And The only water that I had was hot, and I just couldn't get cooled down. And as I was on the side of the road, I got out of the Honda and laid on the side of the road and was on all fours, just throwing my guts up, throwing up everything I had. I could feel my heart beating through my chest, and I knew that was it. I really thought, I prayed. I sit there, and I'm not a religious man, overly religious man, and I sat there and I prayed, God, please don't let me die on the side of the road like this. And God answered my prayers, thank God. And a woman by the name of Tammy, and I was so confused, I cannot remember her last name. A woman by the name of Tammy. Tammy, if you're watching this, if anyone knows Tammy from Joplin, Missouri, which I doubt it's a long shot, but I owe her my life, because she came by and saw me on all fours throwing up on the ground and stopped to help me. And she had a bottle of cold water. I don't know where they were headed, her and her husband. They were headed somewhere, and they had a couple bottles of cold water, and Tammy just happened to be a registered nurse. And Tammy got out, she got me drinking water, she got me in the air conditioning, she took some water and applied it to my neck and my back, trying to get me cooled off, and generally just calmed me down and got me to call 911. We called 911 and got the ambulance down there, and the ambulance then at that point got me in there, got me cooled down, got me some fluids in me and everything like that, and took me to the hospital and got me all checked over. And at that point, my body temperature was 104 degrees, and my heart rate was at 150 beats per minute. And if it wouldn't have been for Tammy, I probably would have laid on the side of that road and died, because I was out in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't get my Honda out. I mean, the Honda was stuck. It was definitely stuck in that field. There was no getting it out. And I was so delirious and so out of it, I didn't even think to call 911, you know, and I thought I'll throw up and I'll be okay. If Tammy wouldn't have came along, I probably would have died right there on the side of the road. I mean, it was that serious. I was that close. With 104 degree body temperature, my brain started basically overheating, and I started getting confused, didn't know where I was and what I was doing. When I was talking to the lady on 911, I couldn't even tell her how old I was. She asked me how old I was, and if you guys don't know, I'm 37. And I'm not in the best of shape. That's going to change. But I told her I was 27. I didn't know who I was. I couldn't tell her, my name. My first name's actually Jerry. Everyone calls me Ike. My middle name's Isaac. I go by Ike. I was telling her I'm Jerry, I'm Ike, I'm Isaac. I was telling her all different kinds of names. I mean, I was all confused and all messed up. So this is really just a precautionary tale for you guys out there. What I should have done was I shouldn't have been down in that bottom, period. I shouldn't have had my truck in there, period. But I should have just picked up the phone and called and asked for help. I got cousins who came up and got my truck out Sunday, and we had a little bit of trouble, but it would have been a hell of a lot easier if we'd have done it Saturday and got it out of there before I suffered from a heat stroke, and before it damn near killed me. Tyson and Harvey, you guys saved me from getting my truck out. You guys saved my butt. So my cousins came up, they got me out, and all I should have done Saturday was I should have just picked up the phone and called one of them and had them come help me get it out. But I was too stubborn and too just bullheaded about getting it out myself, that I was determined that I was going to do it. The other thing I should have done is I should have listened to my wife and stayed home, and I went out the second time, and I should have cooled off. I mean, I had sweat just pouring off of me, and I knew I was overheating, but I just kept going. I just kept was determined that I was going to get that damn truck out. And I should have cooled off. I should have sat down in the shade. I shouldn't have been out there in the heat of the day, So this is just a precautionary tale for you guys. It's that time of year, it's July. It's time to start thinking about deer hunting. It's time to get out tree stands. It's time to be getting cameras out and feeders out and getting pictures and stuff like that. Watch the heat, man. Be really, really careful about the heat. Make sure someone knows where you're going. Make sure take someone with you. If I'd have had my wife with me, things would have been different. If it would have been for Tammy coming by and being a nurse and knowing what she was doing, I probably would have ended up dead on the side of the road. I mean, it was that close. So make sure someone knows where you're going. Make sure you've got help if you need help. Go out in the morning. I mean, go out at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Get out there before it gets real hot and gets real humid. That's when you really are going to be susceptible to the heat stroke. And I was out there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when I was out running around. So don't make the same mistake I did. I'm going to be real susceptible to heat stroke now from what my doctor said. I probably had a heat stroke the first time I went out, and the second time I went out, I just overdid it again and had another heat stroke. So now for a while, I'm going to be real susceptible to having another heat stroke. So, and they set an indeterminate amount of time before I'm not susceptible to having heat stroke again. So I don't know when that's going to be, and that's really going to change my lifestyle and change my approach to hunting. I mean, it really affects everything. So it can happen to you. I mean, I never thought it would happen to me. I've been out doing that kind of stuff all the time, especially when I was younger. And I think that's the thing, it's my age. I'm 37 damn years old now, and I don't need to be out doing that kind of stuff by myself, especially not lugging this thing around. That's part of it. I'm getting old, I'm getting fat, and I'm getting lazy, and it really hit a toll and took it out of me and damn near killed me. So don't let the same thing happen to me, or happen to you that happened to me. It was that close to my wife being a widow and my son not having a dad. My dad died when he was 39, and I know how it feels. You don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to leave your kids in that situation. So be careful in the heat, and make sure someone knows where you're going. Take someone with you if you possibly can. Have a hunting partner, have a hunting buddy. Take your wife. She can sit in a car for all that matters. I mean, take your kids with you or something like that. Make sure you've got a backup plan. And it's funny because when I go to the woods, I carry a big knife with me, I carry a pistol with me, I carry a first aid kit, I carry water, I carry everything that you can possibly imagine to get a scenario if I have to stay, I've got gear. If I get stuck, I don't have a plan. And that was why I absolutely not have a plan at all about what to do. So I know this video has been long, and I'm sorry for rambling on, but this is serious, and it really hit home with me this weekend. Be careful out there in the heat. Tammy, if you're watching this, you're from Joplin, Missouri, you're a registered nurse, about 40-ish, thank you very much. You saved my life. And for Paul and Tyson, thanks for coming and getting me out. I really appreciate you guys coming and hauling me out. You would not believe where I had that truck. It was in the bottom, and I don't mean in a little bit. It was way down there. So I hope that some of you guys can avoid making the same mistakes I did. And like I said, this is just a PSA, public service announcement. Don't do the same things I did. Don't go out and kill yourself over putting a deer stand up. So for more product reviews, how-to videos, be sure to check out our website, which is ikesoutdoors.com. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and do all those good things. And if you're interested in following us, what we're doing, I do update Facebook quite a bit on the weekends with deer pictures and stuff like that. So you can check us out on Facebook under Ike's Outdoors. Appreciate you guys watching.